It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you tonight. As Matt said, this is my second time at TEDxMiami. And the first time that I was here, it was 4 years ago, and it was 80 people in the room. What a difference. Today we have more than 1,400 people, and it's an entire sold out. Don't you think that the organizers of this place require an applause? What 4 years ago was a dream, hopefully I will convey to you tonight that is a reality. And the reality is better conveyed by pictures and by photographs than by many, many words. Our project is called One Laptop Per Child. And it is now worldwide recognized as a transformational project. And I'm going to be here to tell you the transformation that we internally have endured and at the same time enjoyed. And one of these transformations had to do with TEDxMiami 4 years ago. Allow me to take you into this journey, and allow me to tell you before, for some of the people that were not here 4 years ago, who we are and what we do. First of all, as I said before, we are One Laptop Per Child. This is a non-for-profit foundation that was created at the Media Lab of MIT, where I went to school. The whole idea is to take you through a process of invention. And we started with this idea 7 years ago with a nowadays worldwide recognized little laptop with a crank that you could charge by just moving the crank. It evolved into this one, which is the one that we have delivered already more than 2.5 million of these in 60 countries and 21 different languages. And now I'm going to give you something that is just coming into the realm now as we speak with this, the new tablet of learning and educational tablet. But the most important thing is that in the meantime, 4 years ago, there have been a lot of technical evolutions that have changed at the same time our way of thinking. One of them, a very important one, is the advent of the touch screen. And this has influenced a lot our way of thinking, and we have an obligation to adapt to new technologies. And the second one that was not here also 4 years ago is the advent of a different operating system. We used to have a Linux operating system, but now the most important one is the Android operating system that is very permeated in every mobile phone and intelligent phones. So these have given us an expansion of the reach of the computer. When we started the laptop, the reach was from 6 years to 12 years of age. We specialize in primary school age because that's when you can mold the brain of the child. And nowadays, because of the Android and the touch screen, you can start from 2 years up. The early stimulation is so important and so definite in the type of learning that you do that it is very important. So let me take you now to two types of origins of this whole idea. The first one is 1948, and believe it or not, it took place in my country of origin, Colombia. At that time, there was an invention called the transistor radio. And there was a priest in a remote agricultural area of the Boyacá region of Colombia that saw the transistor radio and decided, and this is the priest in 1948, decided to put a transistor radio in the pocket of every peasant that was still plowing the land with oxen. And in order to convey information and teaching and learning to these peasants, he created a radio station that was called Radio Sutatensa. It became the largest radio station in Colombia, educating from 1948 to 1980, 4.5 million peasants in the country in basic things about agriculture, about health, about boiling water, things like that. Well, we are not reinventing the wheel. The transistor radio today is called a laptop, And the radio sutatensa of today is called the internet. What we are trying to take advantage is leverage of new inventions and recreate all ideas in order to be able to take advantage of modern times. Now, this was called by that priest the Revolution of Hope. So we have a new version of the Revolution of Hope, and this is the one that I'm going to try to take you into the journey right now. The first one was in the 1950s, two persons in Geneva, Jean Piaget and Seymour Papert, detected that people who were starting to program after the World War II, because computers were now being able to be used by civil society, developed a different type of mind frame from the rest of us. So they decided that people who programmed, but most important, people who debugged programs, acquired a different mentality that was very useful for modern times. 20 years later on, one of the two, Seymour Papert, was hired by MIT to start the Artificial Intelligence Lab. And he arrived there, and he was a very weird guy, as you can see, and decided that what they have learned 20 years ago was that every child in the future should learn how to program and should learn how to debug a program. And every child should have access to a computer. At that time, a computer was this, and they thought that this guy was absolutely crazy. How can a child have access to these type of computers? In the audience, when he presented the idea, there was a person by the name of Nicholas Negroponte, an architect, my classmate. I am an architect, by the way, so you might ask, what is a nice girl like me doing in a place like this? But through and behold, Nicholas was trying to design a graphical user interface so we, poor architects of the world, that were the last generation of architects who were still drafting with their parallel rule and triangle and pencil, could use digitalized technologies. He told Seymour, rather than thinking that you are crazy, as everybody else is thinking here in the audience, I want you to join me, and you have expanded my vision, and I want to use graphical users interface to the rest of the common people, not only geeks or nerds. And that was the origin of a 40 years collaboration. Seymour Papert then in 1980 wrote a book and wrote a program for a child of 5 years of age to be able to do linear programming. It's a milestone. It is still the most important contribution to education in the last 40 years. And out of that came a very now famous robotics game with Lego, which is using the Logo language, and that gave birth to a lab at MIT called the Lego Learning Laboratory. And it is designed precisely to study how the mind learns and how we use that. Okay, in common, simple words, what is this all about? This is important, is that the child is the one that should give instructions to the computer rather than the computer giving instructions to the child. It makes a hell of a difference. And that's all what it's all about. It's called learning by doing. And therefore, what we have done ever since is doing that. You may ask, how did you get involved with this? Well, in 1982, 31 years ago, Nicholas and I did for my country of origin, Colombia, the first technology-dedicated education at a distance project. And this was the day we signed the agreement with the chief of staff of the president. Ever since, I have been involved. First, as a private sector person, and nowadays, for the past 5 years, as the chief executive officer of this foundation, because of the implementation worldwide requires a private sector mentality as a corporation, but it's a non-for-profit. So how the precise project started? It was started in 2001 in Cambodia, where Nicholas and his family took some regular laptops that they found and to the agricultural school in the region, brought a satellite dish and some portable generators, and showed the gigantic difference in reality of what Seymour Papert had said 30 years before. So he came back to MIT and said, we need to start a project like this. And that was when the one-to-one, or the one laptop per child idea, personal access to knowledge, came to be. 2005, we presented at the International Telecommunication Union meeting in Tunisia with Kofi Annan of the United Nations, the first prototype of the Cranket laptop. And the first president that took this project and made it a reality was President Tabaré Vázquez of Uruguay. Today, every child in Uruguay, and when I mean every child, including autistic children, Down syndrome children, visually impaired children, or physically impaired children, has one of our laptops connected to the internet and with the pedagogical system that comes with it. Uruguay, and also today here, some person who is in charge of the Paraguay project just came from Paraguay to attend this evening tonight, and I want to thank Cecilia Alcalá for being here, because these two countries have been very important in the transformation of education. Uruguay is the most important educational laboratory in the world. No Finland, no Southern Korea, no Singapore, nothing of Taiwan compares to Uruguay. I would like to see 10 years from now what the children of Uruguay will do to the rest of the world. Then, what happened is then, because of that, children became the agents of change. In Peru, children teaching their grandparents how to read or write, completely overwhelmed by computers. In Colombia, this is the Shakira school that we have provided all of the computers in the outskirts of Bogotá, teaching their neighbors and their parents and their brothers and sisters. In Uruguay, in the rural areas where they come with horses to the school, they have all their laptops with them, or in the city. In India, a complete transformation of the schooling system in India. This teacher is now overwhelmed every morning because children are flocking to his side, asking for knowledge. In Afghanistan, we were told that they were going to kill the girls. You know that in Afghanistan, 75% of girls don't go to school. They said they were going to kill them. Look at the Malala in Pakistan as well. What we did was we embedded the Quran in the laptop. And because of that, it became a sacred learning device. Then a friend of mine, a banker from Nicaragua, saw the laptop in my house one day here in Miami and decided to start a project in Nicaragua. Well, I'm happy to tell you today that this family, husband and wife, have delivered 30,000 laptops in Nicaragua. 30,000. We are in Nepal. We are all over the place. This is in Sierra Leone, where they are learning outside and they are learning with a solar panel. In Thailand, in Colombia, we delivered to the guerrilla-infested region where the military had taken back the country, and we delivered laptops instead of arms. And as a consequence of that, the laptop has won the war against the arms. It has meant the end of isolation. Even in remote areas of the northern part of Australia where the Aborigines live, this has been a complete transformation. In Ramallah, in all the refugee camps, the joy of learning is one of the aspects of this whole revolution, or the concentration and the commitment to learning, the early age in which they learn, or the complete absorption in the learning environment. So, altogether, as I told you, we have 2.5 million laptops, 12 million people impacted, 21 languages, 60 countries, one laptop. When a country issues a stamp commemorating our laptop, or when a country issues a bill, a monetary bill commemorating our laptop, you need to understand that something transformational has happened in that country in order for them to have taken the initiative of doing that type of thing. And we are very proud of that type of transformation. Because, ladies and gentlemen, for us, children are a mission, not a market. Mission is the whole thing that drives us. In 2012, and because of the TEDxMiami, we came to the United States. We were not thinking of doing that. It was only because of TEDxMiami in 2009. And we started here in Miami. And we then expanded to Charlotte with the same sponsors, and then to Philadelphia, in the outskirts of Pennsylvania. And the one in Miami is a very significant one. it is the Holmes Elementary School nearby here in Liberty City. The entire school has one of our laptops, and it has meant a transformation for that school. And it is because of that that we are really now becoming very much focused on also coming to the States, because there are pockets of ignorance, violence, and misery in the States that require the same type of attention as the countries in Latin America, Asia, or Africa. And we need to start doing things here at home if we want to change things. Then, the latest thing that we have done is to take advantage of, as I told you before, the Android and the touch screen, and we have created a tablet. And this is our latest thing, and it just won 5 days ago the award from the Parents' Choice Association of America, a non-for-profit, as the most and best gadget or laptop or tablet in the market for this coming holiday season. It is now #1 in sales at Walmart, Costco, Amazon, and everything else. And all of the proceeds that we get from it will go immediately into research and development for more laptops for children all over the world. It is built along the way, what do you want to be when you grow up? What are your dreams? What are your dreams? And follow your dreams, follow your bliss. And it has all types of parental controls, evaluation systems, 200 applications, 100 in English, 100 in Spanish, and they have also 200 books, 100 in English, 100 in Spanish, for classical books for children. I want to end by emphasizing the dreams, because that's what keeps children glued. And I also have a dream. And the dreams come because of personal dramatic events. It just happens that my wife Cecilia, who is here in the audience, and I have been married for 45 years, we lost 3 children to a very strange heart disease at ages 3, 4, and 5. We want to, in a way, honor and leave a legacy to children in the world of something that we were not able to give to our own 3 children. And because of TEDxMiami of 2009, I also have a dream. And the dream is to make of Miami the real transformational hub of America in terms of education. Because we did it in Holmes Elementary, we can do it in all Miami, and we can influence the United States in doing that. So hopefully, in a year or 2 years, I will be invited for the 3rd time, but this time I hope I will be invited just to tell you that we did it and that Miami did it. So, ladies and gentlemen, please let us, the children, follow the dream. Because if we do that, they will be the ones to change the world. Thank you very much.